phone.
I thought it was Nathan who emailed it.
It was Nathan who emailed, but I've never read the original one. But Stephen was the guy on the phone.
Okay. 2 losers got in touch and said, oh, the regulars are very, very boring people. So we're going to do a whole show where if you are a regular caller to this show, tonight, you're not welcome. You're not welcome. Now, one of two things will happen. One, it'll be very, very dull, and we'll all realise that the losers like Vinny, Andre, and Barry actually make the show. Or it could be a brilliant, brilliant show, and we realise that maybe we've been wrong all this time, and that we should have, been discouraging these mental people from the start. So we'll find out. So if you're not a regular caller to the show, tonight's show is just. But before we start, we had an email from Stuart Lees, which I think there's Stuart Lees emailed in. Come on, mate. Can't actually starts. Come on, mate. Last night's show stroke podcast was pretty below par from yours and Eloise's normal standard. Make tonight's a good one. Please don't take that as an insult. Best wishes, Stu.
Oh, friendly.
Hang on a minute. I went back saying, how am I not meant to take that as an insult? And by the way, he spelled pretty, P-R-I-T-T-Y. So, but Stuart Lees has asked us, he has insisted, not in an insulting way, that we pull our fingers out of each other's arses, which is where our fingers are at the moment. They were for the whole show last night, and that may have been the mistake. We are pulling our fingers out of our own backsides, each other's backsides, and tonight we will make a humdinger of a radio show. That's going to be
for you.
Just for you, Stuart Lees. Just for you.
But we're not offended.
Eloise, what have you got for the show tonight?
Tonight for the show, I've got some singing.
Right, okay, that's not going to make the show
I've got
better for Stuart Lees.
loads and loads of non-regular callers to call up.
Right.
I've got
assuming they call in.
some arguments to have with Stuart Lees. Thumbs up.
Hey, I'm going to get a Christmas tree this Saturday. I made the decision. I made the call. I've done most of my Christmas shopping because I buy some stuff for the kids.
Real or fake?
Real tree. And then I don't care about trees, so I'm going to get a real tree in my house. And then when it's done, I'm going to chuck it out the window. Literally.
I'm with you on that. It's not Christmas about a real one.
Christmas is about death and trees and dogs, and that's what it's all about for me. I'll be celebrating that by buying a dog, and then the same day I chuck the tree out the window.
Chuck that dog out.
The dog is going out of the
See you later,
window.
Andric's puppy.
Andric's puppy, ta-ta! As it goes out. So, I haven't got much because the computer upstairs, I printed something up and the printer didn't work. So all I could remember from the list of things. Now, have we done this before? We've mentioned it, but I don't know if we've done it before. In the weird insults thing. Have we done that on the air?
No, we spoke about it on the podcast.
So a few weeks ago, this was before, this was a while ago, my wife and I were walking to the gym, haven't been for ages, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and there were these builders eye up women. Hey listen, all men eye up women. It's a biological fact. You can't control yourself. Even if you think you're on a higher spiritual plane, you're like some, 7th rebirth Buddha or something, you can't stop yourself from going like that. But these fellas, I was walking past, and these fellas would just stare at my wife's tits and her bum, which I must say are fantastic. And one of them even said, "All right, love." And I was stood there, so I felt emasculated. I was stood there next to her. And there were builders, there were like 5 of them. I went, "All right, mate, calm down. What's your problem?"
I'm just standing here next to my wife.
Exactly. We carried on walking. We didn't stop walking, so normally we carried on walking. And I went, "I'm here. If you're going to eye my wife up, do it. Do it subtly, because I can see what you're doing. But don't then make like a leering comment to her while I'm stood there." And then he started getting all arsey, like, "Do you want some?" I'm like, "No, I don't want some. I just want you to have a little bit more respect for my wife, please." I couldn't really care less. I was just trying to look in front of him. And then his mate went, "Yeah, up yours, Glenn Miller, you bleep." And did he just call me Glenn Miller? Was that the Glenn Miller?
I think it's original.
It was original. And then I went to my friend Paul Garner's house the next day, and I said, and I was wearing a green jacket, and I went, or maybe it was I went to someone's house, and I went, "I got called Glenn Miller the other day. I don't look anything like Glenn Miller." And he said, "Well, let's find out. Let's Google it." Google Glenn Miller. Picture came up. I'm the dead spit of Glenn Miller. I'm the dead spit of Glenn Miller, the band leader who disappeared mysteriously refer to me as the man who was responsible for In the Mood, or Swing the Mood, whatever it's called. I don't know, I'm thinking of Jive Bunny now. But Glenn Miller, he called me so. Tonight, new callers, irregular callers, 0330 123 1215. What is the weirdest insult that has been hurled at you, or that you have hurled at someone else? It was so bizarre. It caught me completely off guard. I was like, oh, so, Glenn Miller? It's a strange one. So 0330 123 1215. Now, part of this not having regular callers on tonight is the aircon. The aircon. Can you turn it off?
I've done that already.
Off and on again, because it's really very, very hot.
Thank you. Back on your note about boring callers.
I was talking.
Oh, sorry.
Well, go on. Boring callers, yeah.
Mr. Grace was listening last night. He heard Vinny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thought he was terrible.
Oh, hang on a second. Vinny?
It's Steve, first time caller.
Okay, Steve, go on. Dad, it's not Vinny, because Mr. Grace thought Vinny was a bad caller, did he?
Very boring, yeah.
Really? Hey, Mr. Yeah. That's unfortunate, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, well, what can we do for you this evening?
Well, I got a topic for the show.
Oh, brilliant, Steve. Well, let's hear it.
Top 10 living legends.
The top 10 lodgings?
Living legends.
Like who?
Holly behind Alvin.
Steve, you sound like a girl.
That's a gay girl.
You mean a lesbian?
Yeah, I do mean a lesbian. Give me an example of a living legend.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Okay, well, we could do that, but that's quite a boring topic, Stephen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye. I wouldn't bother. I think we're going to struggle this evening. 2 hours of a lanky man and a young lady in a studio struggling. It should be fun.
Ian Lee's 2-hour-long late-night radio show starting at 11.
Can someone tell me what all the fuss is about Tiger Woods crashing his car? It's been all over the news. But you listen to 5 Live, you imagine that nothing else would ever... that this was the equivalent of a nuclear war being launched. It's everywhere. Surely it's just a golfer crashed his car a little bit. And then, am I missing something here? The most boring man in the world crashed a really expensive car a little bit, and... yes, so what? And golf is the dullest thing in the world anyway, isn't it? 0330 123 1215. No regulars tonight, please. Thank you. For me, it's supposed to be fair trade, but how much did we pay for that? Nothing. We paid nothing for that. So the fair trade.
But we're promoting them.
No.
So that they can buy more by talking about them now.
Yeah, I love those jazzy beacons. It's Dan Martin in the Dorset. Good evening, Dan.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm fine. I've got your desperate emails.
Did you?
No, they do. Ian, I'm ringing now. Do I hang up and Eloise will call back? I don't know how this works. I don't want to seem like a psycho. Well, you do, Dan Martin, but it's lovely. You're one of those nice psychos that you like to hug while he's stabbing you. Dan Martin, it's a pleasure to talk to you, sir. What can we do for you?
I just want to say, I just heard your fight with
Yeah.
and he sounds like
He does really. I don't get the fuss.
Have you ever brought your ukulele?
Oh, I've not brought my ukulele into the studio. But
Why don't you do that for a feature? You play a song and the callers have to like guess what you're trying to play.
what, you saying I'm rubbish or something? Let me. I did some. I went round to my friends at the weekend and we played some ukulele. I don't think there's any swearing in this, although I've led a ukulele Benny Bear job, which is not very rude in another language. Let's have a listen. This is hang on, let's get this to work. This is us playing ukulele, and we're not. I know ukulele Benny Bear job. We played it. Hang on, let's listen. Yeah, we may swear at the start, so I'm going to jump in. Listen to us. This is what me and my friends get up to at the weekend. I'm so old. It's me. The tossing is part of the song. It's not being rude. It's part of the song. Once more I've lost my appetite.
You did the words then. Why don't you know them now?
Because we were reading them. Here we go. Here comes the chords. This bit's complicated. Complicated chords. Here we go. This is what we did on a Saturday night. I try harmony here. It doesn't work. No, it didn't work. A bit ropey. But you wish you'd never mentioned this now, Dan Martin. Huh?
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, I'm not really familiar with the 1940s.
All right. Well, you'll be familiar. You'll be familiar with this. Everyone's familiar with this, but I do think there might be swearing in it, so I'm hovering over the dump button. Okay. Here we go.
All right.
And we're going to be careful because we. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll know this. This is good.
Got a beautiful skin. You got a beautiful.
We matched the over there.
You got a beautiful face. I got.
We do swear. I do remember where that goes. That was supposed to be Chaz and Dave, and I remember that gets very, very filthy at the end. I will bring the ukulele in one night, definitely. I'm not very good at it, but yes, it will definitely happen one night. I promise you.
Lovely, lovely. And I reckon as well.
Yes.
I don't know, one night or whatever, you should get people to phone up and share their best jokes with you as well.
Well, no, I will never do
You
that.
don't think so?
No.
Everyone's jokes are boring.
Everyone's jokes are rubbish. If we'll get Andre phoning up being racist.
I've got a classic. It's not racist at all, anything.
Okay, well listen, let's...
Do you want to hover over the dump
yours
button?
is good.
If you don't like it, I can tell you it.
The thing is, if you ask people to phone in and do their jokes, it's like people phoning in to do their poems. It's good fun for them and their mates.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Dan. Listen, I'm gonna let you do your joke, and you will see why it just doesn't work on the radio. Okay,
We're
so
going
let's
to get the tumbleweed out. Whatever. Even if it goes down the store.
I was
I know.
looking for that right now.
Yes, all right. I'm that predictable. Yes, I have got the tumbleweed. Dan, let's hear your joke.
Okay, here we go then. Right, there's a girl driving down the road in the rain. She runs over a badger, but it's not quite dead. So what she does, she phones the vet, and she says to the vet, tells the story, and he says, right, okay, just pick it up, pop it between your legs, and drive into the surgery, and I'll see what I can do. She says, but it's wet and smelly. So he says, don't worry about that. Just put a peg on its nose.
No, that doesn't even, Jesus Christ. He's made a vagina joke. Doesn't even warrant. Dan, you're cut off. Shame on you. He seemed like such a nice lad, and he's made a joke about someone having unclean genitals. Yeah. That's not what this show is.
I expected more from him.
I expected more from
bitterly
Dan
disappointed.
Martin. You see, this is listen. A regular would have known not to cross that line, but yeah, that's.
No, some of them do. So Andre's emailed in. Ian, I think you're being prejudiced towards regulars when they're paying your wages in phone with an F calls Andre.
Well, my wages do not come from phone calls, they come from advertising revenue.
Also, it's just a normal landline. Get over it, Andre.
Yeah, get over yourself, Andre. You can go one night without... In fact, we spoke to you before we went on air. So, you know...
You've had your fill.
You've spoken to us. Get stuff.
You felt me up with your words.
Yeah, sorry about that. Jono's in the Richmond. Good evening, Jono.
Yeah.
Yay!
By the way, I've moved from Richmond now. I'm now living in Jupiter, my planet.
Oh, well, whoa, hang on a second there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so, how many times have you called us, Jono?
Once. That doesn't make you a regular, does it?
No, you're right, okay, you're fine, you're through, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Lovely, well, life in Jupiter is wonderful. Have you seen that? Hey, listen, there's a Facebook page now for the show, which Mr. Mr. Grace insisted that we started. I'd said no, but he insisted. And I think it's facebook.com/Ian Lee Show. And if you go there, you'll be able to see a full, excellent reproduction of the map of the solar system.
Yeah, I've seen it. It is a piece of art. It should be framed, I reckon.
Well, someone won it, but we've lost the details of the guy that won it, but he will be receiving that when I remember to bring in and we find his address. That will happen. I think his name's like Simon or Mark or something. But yes,
Cool.
facebook.com/Ian Lee Show. Everybody go and join up. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we had 5,000 followers by Christmas? Think of all the orphans who'd be really happy with that news. Anyway, Jono, what the bloody hell do you want?
Well, actually, I was just calling to talk about the vet checks.
Oh, you listened to a podcast intro, young man.
I did.
What the? Okay.
I've also got a Vectrex.
Vectrex is just one of the horniest games consoles of all time, isn't it?
It is amazing.
It's sick.
Mine's in the attic at the moment, so I haven't played it in a while.
Was yours an original, or did you get it off eBay?
Well, I've had it for ages because it was my big sister's, who's like 30 years old.
Okay, well listen, for those who don't know,
It's like a song.
do go and listen to. Do go down if you've heard the shows. Go and download the podcast. I know there's an argument on Digital Spy, an argument fueled by idiots and nonces. But why does Ian do the extra stuff and put it on the full podcast? Why can't he release the extra stuff separately? The extra stuff is there, kids, to encourage those who've heard the show to still download the podcast so that we get more downloads and I look more popular. That's what it's there. We don't do it for pleasure. I would rather come in half an hour later and not record them, but I'm doing... Anyway, calm down. But do go down. But yes, on the last show, which is the 21st, 20th, 19th, 18th, Thursday the 17th of December, last day of term, we're encouraging all of you to bring in your toys to play with while we listen to the show. I'm bringing in a Vectrex. I may bring in computer and Lee show. I'm going to go and say hello to all of the freaks there in a minute. David is in the Hove of all places. Good evening, David.
All right, Ian.
All right, David. How you doing, mate?
All right.
Yeah.
I've never called in before.
All right, nice one.
I was just going to phone up to say that you need a dry, surreal sense of humour to listen to the show.
Okay. Where can I go on those from?
Quite the script, because it's actually quite difficult to come up with something interesting and witty.
Okay.
So I think you do need regular callers.
Right, okay, but we're not having regular... Well, this is what tonight will prove. It'll either prove that we do need regular callers, or that we don't. And I think I know which way it's going to go, but I'm prepared to be proved wrong.
But you're going to get not interesting people phoning up like me.
Like yourself, yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, a lot of the callers we've had so far have either been dull or idiots.
Boring. Yeah.
Yeah, which is not... I'll be honest, doesn't make great radio,
No,
does it?
You just turn off.
Well, exactly. That's. I mean, it's like me listening to the Ian Collins show on Talk Sport.
Yeah, but the good thing about a podcast is you don't get all the adverts and you don't get any of the songs.
Yeah, I
you
know.
just get the whole.
I know. Yes. The good things about the podcast is that it's just the action-packed content and the extra stuff at the start and the end, which is good, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I play Surfing USA on the piano?
I don't know. Can you? Well, I can't. I can't play the piano.
Here we go.
Okay. Listening to a weirdo playing a tiny, tiny quiet piano. Hope you're enjoying it. Well, that's enough of that. There's a stone to it, isn't there? It's a strange one. Let's go to Dave. Good evening, Dave. Right. Right. This is just Lee the Pooh Man, isn't it?
No, who is that?
There we go. He's I'm not allowing any of the regulars to call up under different names and using different voices. That is not happening this evening, and I will be very, very strict about that. So mark my words. Mark my words. Daniel's in the Western Superman. Good evening, Daniel.
Hello.
Hello.
You were saying yesterday how Mondays were lacking a bit of spunk.
Yeah, Mondays, I'm not saying they're rubbish, but there's just something missing, and if anybody has got any suggestions on how we can make Mondays a bit fatter and a bit fuller, then please do let me know.
Well, I think I might have an idea that might just ejaculate all over them.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I've got an idea. I think I'm calling it To Lee or Not to See.
Okay, that sounds like a radio idea, yes.
Yes. Basically, you get a regular caller and you pit them up against a non-regular caller.
Right.
And they have to try and impress you. And the regular caller, if he does impress you, gets to stay on as a regular caller. But if the other caller wins, then basically they get to outrank that regular caller.
Right, but what would be interesting in what way?
Well, that's up to them, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, is it? I don't understand the rules.
Well, it's like a talent competition.
But, okay, so they've got to sing a song or something?
Well, or tell a story, or however they deem that they can impress you. But if the regular caller doesn't cut the mustard, then they're off.
It's an idea, Daniel.
Yeah.
I don't think, and I appreciate it, thank you. I don't know if it's the thing that's gonna save Mondays.
Well, no, maybe not.
Maybe Mondays are never gonna be brilliant. So perhaps I should ask Mr. Grace to take me off Mondays, and then we'll just start on Tuesdays. Because tonight's show is better than last night's by about 100 times.
Why don't you take on Fridays?
Why don't I take off what?
Why don't you take on Fridays now that Nick Shaw's gone?
I wouldn't mind doing that, but I believe that gift is being given elsewhere amongst the absolute family.
Oh dear.
Daniel, thank you for that. It's food for thought. Food for thought, indeed. Is